Going into it, I had no hope after seeing the first one that the second one was going to be any good, and I came away like...
Well, why would you even bother going to see the second one then?
It appeared in front of me. I didn't have to go out of my way to see it.
Oh, you were going to see another film and they ran that by mistake?
Maybe it coincided with something that was playing next door.
Now I understand why you hate having to pick your tickets ahead of time. Because you like to spend the afternoon at the theater.
Not the afternoon, but...
You like to sit down with the movie list, and this one ends here, and this one starts here. It means I have a 20-minute layover between the two. I have to go to the bathroom, and then just wander into the theater. And you can't do that if you got the seats picked out. I got it now. You're a cheap bastard.
I don't know what the hell your problem is, but whatever it is, just forget it.
You want to get out of here. That's what you want to do anyway. You want to get out of here without having a look at me, so go on. Go on.
Make my head hurt with all that poetry.
But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Oh, you should put that speech on tape.
He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
Hello, Chicago, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Gotta drink to that.
Welcome to Alternate Reality.
Comicbookman here. Welcome to our Academy Awards edition of the Alternate Reality podcast. For over a decade now, we have done our Academy Award picks here at the store. They've been on the store's website, which of course is at myalternatereality.com. And Bocepheus and good old JR have both given their Academy Award picks. Over the last year or two, we've rolled in Vito Carli, who has started doing reviews for us about 3 years ago. And of course, over the last 2 years, we've had Rod Flash on the podcast during our Academy Awards show. And this year, the plan was to get everyone together because of scheduling.
And bad weather.
We couldn't get anyone together at the same time. So what we did was, we did 2 recordings over 2 separate days, and all 4 people, Rod, Bo, JR, and Vito, all gave their Academy Award picks, which we are going to cut together into one big show. So when you listen to this episode, it may sound a little Frankenstein-y. That's because Vito and JR were recorded separately from Rod and Bocepheus. But all of their picks are going to be put together, and these are our picks for the 91st Annual Academy Awards, which, Bo, you know what day that's going to be held?
24th of February. 24th of February.
February the 24th. And JR is here with us. Vito is here. They've got their list of Academy Award picks. And as I said, this is the Alternate Reality. We're coming to you from the comic book store Alternate Reality, located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. Let's get into this. We've wasted enough time. I'm going to start with the bottom end of the Academy Awards. We'll work our way up to Best Picture.
And we will be singing all the nominated songs.
That's good, because that's what we're starting off with. We have original score and original song. For original score, we've got BlacKkKlansman by Terrence Blanchard. We've got Black Panther, which was Ludwig Göransson. We've got If Beale Street Could Talk, which was Nicholas Britell. Isle of Dogs, which is Alexandre Desplat. And Mary Poppins Returns, which was by the team of Mark Scheinman and Scott Whitman. Bo, I'm going to go with you first. Who do you think is going to be for Best Original Score?
I'm picking Britell for Beale Street.
So I'm picking 2.
You picking him too?
I love the music throughout the whole entire thing. And I pay attention to the music in the background and everything. And yeah, it works.
Well, being a musician, I would hope you would.
Well, sometimes it can be overkill.
You mean like Terrence Blanchard?
Supposed to be overkill.
No. You're supposed to not notice the music in a film. That's the point. Blanchard never does that. So Spike Lee's films never win Best Original Score because there's nothing subtle there. Duplass's Isle of Dogs soundtrack, I don't remember any of it. But you know what? It's good.
Well, how can you like it if you don't remember it?
Because it didn't interfere in the thing. I remember the drum beat. The drum beat is the Isle of Dogs. That was part of the film. There's a lot of drum beats. Yeah. But it was subtle and it didn't overwhelm you. And that's what it's supposed to do. The score's not supposed to take away from the film. If it's overwhelming, it takes away from the film.
Which is the case with Black Panther, because it's a Disney picture, and Disney has been known for turning up the timpani and turning the cymbals up a little bit louder. If you notice, a lot of Marvel movies are like that now.
The Panther theme is something that when you hear it, you recognize it right away. So that means he did his job quite well.
I guarantee you the next 5 that come out of there, you're going to go, God, this is kind of loud here.
So both of you think Beale Street?
Yes.
Okay. Jer, which one do you think?
For me, it's If Beale Street Could Talk. I'm a little torn because I also like the Black Klansman score by Terrence Blanchard, but Nicholas Britell's score for If Beale Street Could Talk, it is the one I bought this year. If there's any indication of how I like a score, it's the one I want to listen to again.
So what did that one say to you as a piece of music?
As a piece of music, it was evocative of what was going on in the film, as well as having its own unique voice at the same time. So that's my pick.
Okay. What about you, Vito?
I didn't see Mary Poppins.
Okay.
I mean, I like Terrence Blanchard quite a bit. Maybe he'll win. Yeah, they snubbed Spike Lee since, for 90 years.
Yeah.
And maybe they want to make up for it and give him Best Director or Best something.
When the Academy picked for original score, that's the type of thing I assume musicians that are in the Academy would be up for voting for.
Right.
I don't know if that's a thing where the Academy musicians would care whether or not.
Probably not.
Spike Lee's been blackballed for whatever reason.
For those out there listening who may not know, when it comes to these categories, cinematographers vote for cinematographers, screenwriters vote for screenwriters,
editors vote for editors.
Editors vote for editors. Until you hit Best Director and Best Picture, everybody votes for those two. So what you say about composers nominating this, probably true. They're more concerned with the music itself than they are with the director side of things.
I don't know much more than anybody off the street, I guess, for this one.
No. Okay. So, did you see If Beale Street Could Talk?
Yeah, that's on my top 10.
Did you like it?
I thought the music worked well, but it didn't jump out at me as being, like that special, or it's not Bernard Herrmann. And the movie was outstanding, I think, overall, but I don't think I remember the music in particular.
So it looks like If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to go
so.
with. Okay, next up is Best Original Song. We have All the Stars from Black Panther by Kendrick Lamar. We have I'll Fight from RGB by Diane Warren and Jennifer Hudson. We have The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns, which was written by Mark Scheinman and Scott Whitman. We have Shallow from A Star Is Born by Lady Gaga, Mark Ronson, Anthony Rossimondo, and Andrew Wyatt and Benjamin Rice. And When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from The Ballad of Buster Scruggs by David Rawlins and Gillian Welch. And of all these, the only one that I have heard is When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings, and that is one of the best damn parts of that thing, when he goes up to heaven for almost 5 minutes going up into the sky. I just love that. But what do you guys think? What do you think is going to be Best Original Song?
To me, it's going to be Shallows.
Yeah, if Gaga doesn't win it, it's an upset.
That song has been in people's heads since that trailer ran a lot. All the Stars is the only other option there. The other 3 songs are nice songs, but those are the ones getting the 90-second treatment by the medley because the Academy went, no one knows of the other songs.
But Diane Warren is sort of like Oscar royalty. She's already won a couple of them, so she may be the only one that may upset it, but this is Gaga's award to lose.
But All the Stars is actually also a very good song.
So you don't think When a Cowboy Trades
His
Spurs? That's a great song.
It's a great song.
Yeah, but they don't have a sense of humor there.
It's a great song. It's not going to win Best Song, though.
JR?
Out of the entire list of Academy Award nominations, there is one sure thing this year, and it's the Song of the Year. It's Shallow from A Star Is Born by Lady Gaga. As soon as the trailer for this movie hit, everyone was singing this song, and they had it on their phones and in their earphones and all that other fun stuff.
I've yet to hear it, but I'm not plugged into anything. So
out of touch, comic book man.
You betcha. You betcha.
You're out of touch, except in the world of comics.
So
but this is the big winner.
You think that's going to win?
I think it's the big winner.
I agree that Shallow is going to win.
Yeah.
It's not going to win, I think, the big categories, but maybe some of the smaller ones.
Okay.
And music seems a logical way to reward the movie.
Okay, so both of you think that Shallow is going to win Best Original
Yes.
Song. Okay, next up is Best Foreign Language Film. We have Capernaum from Lebanon. We have Cold War from Poland. We have Never Look Away from Germany. We have Roma from Mexico. And we have Shoplifters from Japan. Bo, which one do you think?
I haven't seen any of them, but I'll be willing to bet Roma's going to win.
Why?
Because if it doesn't win Best Picture, it'll win Best Foreign Film. although the fact that it's in both categories is asinine.
Do you really think it's asinine?
Yes, it's asinine.
Okay, well, good for you. What about you, Rod?
I'm thinking Cold War.
Have you seen it?
I saw parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing because it was a Netflix thing.
A lot of these films are only seen on Netflix.
Well, Roma, I looked at it and it reminded me of the Grace of Wrath. I was like, this is just depressing me. I flipped over and watched Cold War.
So you think Cold War?
Yeah.
JR, which one do you think will win?
Now, this is going to be interesting because Roma, which is the leading contender this year to take away the big prize of Best Picture of the Year.
Well, here's the thing. No, I mean, most people outside of you two and a handful of people in the city probably don't have a clue as to what any of these films are like. Foreign films is the type of category that's time for a bathroom break. Because
Unfortunately.
Most people don't know them. Most people, I mean, documentaries are the same way. They're not out there, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But most people haven't seen them, so most people don't know about them. Roma, people know about because of Netflix.
We will get a real feel for how Roma's going to do in the Best Picture category. It's nominated twice, Best Foreign Language Film and Best Picture of the Year. So when we hit Best Foreign Language Film in the Oscar ceremony, if Roma wins for Best Foreign Language Film, I don't think it'll take Best Picture of the Year.
And Cold War is nominated for Best Director, too.
Okay.
And also, I saw 3 of them, and they're all 3 really good choices. I mean, they're all better than most of the best film nominees.
I'm picking Cold War.
Yeah.
That's going to be my pick because I do think Roma's going to take Best Picture of the Year. So by default, that's why I'm giving Cold War the nod here.
I think Roma will win, and I thought Cold War is the best movie. Wonderful cinematography. But Roma has that too, though.
Yeah.
But I think the story got to me a little more. Maybe I was in the right mood for it.
It's possible.
I thought the ending came out of nowhere, but for the most part, it was terrific.
But keep an eye on the Best Foreign Language Film category.
And
if Roma wins.
Shoplifters is, nice, but I like other films by that director better. He's probably the best Japanese director, Korida.
For Shoplifters?
Afterlife is a masterpiece.
So I'm not big with foreign films. Roma, obviously, I know because of Netflix, like I mentioned. Cold War, I've heard of. Shoplifters, though, is the only other one that even registers with me because I've read stuff about it, and it's gotten a lot of publicity over the course of the last year for whatever reason. But it's gotten a lot of publicity. That's probably it. Okay, so we're split between Cold War and Roma.
I'm saying Cold War is going to take it, but keep an eye on it because if Roma wins Best Foreign Language Film, it won't win Best Picture. It's going to be a touchstone night for that category.
Okay, and
I'm saying Cold War. I'm going to say.
You think Cold War too, Vito?
No, I think that Roma will win.
Roma will win, but
either one of those two are really good choices, though.
Okay, Best Documentary Feature. We have Free Solo by Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Chai Vershashali. Hale County This Evening by Ramel Ross. We have Minding the Gap by Bing Liu. Of Fathers and Sons by Talal Diricki. And RGB by Betsy West and Julie Cohen. Bo.
RBG.
Both of you think so?
Yeah.
Is that just because you know it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg? And
I actually saw. No, I actually
you don't know anything about the other ones?
That film actually came out in theaters, and people actually showed up and bought tickets to it. And for a documentary, that's a pretty big feat.
Yeah. It wasn't the best documentary of last year. That goes to the one that wasn't even nominated. But yeah.
Which would be Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Thank you. That's a documentary that everybody needs to see.
That's surprising that Won't You Be My Neighbor wasn't nominated because everybody loved that documentary, and you would think that it would have gotten picked as a nominee.
Who do they annoy at the Academy? The documentary filmmakers are going, no, I don't like you.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Mr. Rogers, who does he annoy?
Mr. Rogers isn't with us anymore.
The people,
he passed away a long time ago.
The people who made the documentary.
Okay, that's the campaigning thing.
There had been something about them that maybe the Academy didn't care for, and so they said no.
Well, if Fred Rogers hadn't been haunting them so much from the grave. Then. Okay, but you think RGB is going to win Best Documentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one, JR, do you think?
I think it's going to be RBG.
The Ruth Bader Ginsburg
documentary.
As I asked earlier. Yeah.
And I think that'll be because of the current climate.
Now, there's a movie out about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
This is the documentary RBG, and there's a fictional film. Well, a biopic.
The biopic is this year or last year?
It would be.
So it wouldn't be up for.
It would be eligible for this Oscar list. Yeah.
Okay, but it's not on the list. So it's not like they're bumping up against each other in different categories.
The only documentary I haven't seen on this list is Hale County This Evening. Minding the Gap, which is on Hulu right now. That is a Hulu-sponsored documentary, so if you want to watch it.
What is Minding the Gap about?
It's about a group of skateboarders.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
And takes place in the Chicago area.
Okay. Oh, was that Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was Chicago.
Yeah. If I were to pick, because Won't You Be My Neighbor is not on this list, and it's missing...
Yeah, what's up with that? Why do you think it didn't get picked?
I don't know. Is it a popularity contest in the documentary feature category? Maybe they don't like the more popular.
The Three Identical Strangers is a great movie.
That's another documentary that's successful too.
Three Identical Strangers isn't on here. I've heard of Three Identical Strangers. What is that? That's
it's about these three identical people that it turns out they were in a government experiment.
Yeah, I was listening to NPR about that earlier in the year. I remember that now. Yeah,
and it's very disturbing because you kind of end up thinking the government thinks of us as just rats.
Right.
They have no appreciation of human beings as people at all.
That's shocking.
So it may have been where the documentary people who were voting here just decided that the popular ones...
Well, it's odd it never got picked because most people have heard
Michael
of Won't
Moore.
You Be My Neighbor, not just because of the catchphrase,
right,
but because of the documentary, because it's actually gotten traction.
And the subject matter is very timely as well, but as it is, I mean, if I were to pick one for myself, it would be Minding the Gap, but the winners, I think it's going to be RBG because of the current climate sociologically.
I'm going to take a leap, but I haven't seen any of them except for our RBJ, and I thought it was as good as your average PBS documentary. You know, I mean, it was worth seeing, but I've been reading a lot of stuff about Hale County. I think it opened a little later, so I'm going to go with that one. You know,
yeah, I do think this category is pretty wide open.
Okay, our next category is cinematography. The nominees are Cold War by Lucas Gzell. We have The Favorite, was shot by Robbie Ryan. Never Look Away, Caleb Deschanel. Roma by Alfonso Cuarón. And A Star is Born, Matthew Labatique. Rod, which one do you think is going to take away the prize for best cinematography?
I would not be surprised if The Favorite, but I got this strange feeling that Roma's going to do it.
Just because it was shot in black and white?
Yeah. Like the artist, exactly. Yeah, because they looked at it and go, oh, this looks like an interesting picture. But like I said, I think The Favorite would get it because it was just bat crazy.
Yeah.
The look of it, too.
Yeah, it also looked dry and dark, and it really wasn't appealing visually.
What do you think, Bill?
I'm going to assume Corazon's going to win it because of the black and white, although I would give it to Labatique for Star is Born because that film looks perfect.
Yeah, it does.
That film does. The colors, the shot, tight focus, that's the best looking film of all of these nominees, but it probably won't win. We're probably going to get a Roma thing going on. And black and white tends to go over quite well with the Academy. And Caleb Deschanel, it's like, don't you have enough awards? Your entire family is like a box of these things. You know, your father was a cinematographer, you're a cinematographer, your sister's an actress, your brother's an actor. Come on.
So you disqualify him for that because they have enough awards?
Yeah. And who saw Never Look Away? Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like,
no.
I've gone down this road with you before in the past. There's a long list of Academy films that you've never seen that you say, who's ever seen this film, that wind up winning because the people who care about the category have seen the film.
Yeah, but the same people who are voting on this are also people who go,
cinematographers are voting.
Yeah, they're going to go, we gave Kevin enough Oscars. Let's give it to somebody different. In fact, black and white goes over really big with cinematography.
I can guarantee you most cinematographers have seen all of these films that are voting for the Academy.
These people came up with the nominees.
Yeah,
it came from them, but I think it's going to be Corazon. I think it's going to be like a little run here for that. And black and white always gets overwhelmed.
Okay, so you think Roma and you think The Favorite.
Right. Although I would like it if Labatique won for Star is Born.
I would too.
JR, what do you think about cinematography? What's the prettiest looking picture that's out there?
A lot of these are very pretty, for want of a better word. And there's three great cinematographers here in Caleb Deschanel on Never Look Away, Roma's Alfonso Cuarón. He was a one-man band for this film. He did the cinematography, he wrote the script, and he directed it. And Matthew Labatique for Star is Born. These are all top-tier people here. I'm picking Roma as part of the evening of Roma. I think Roma's going to take a lot of the awards this year. And it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous black and white photography. It's done digitally, which you would think would have a particular look to it and wouldn't be all that cinematic, but Cuarón finds a way to overcome that. I mean,
as we said before about cinematographers are voting for this, where are they at as far as digital versus film?
Well, most of them have embraced it, digital work. There's still some hold. Christopher Nolan is one who still will work with film only.
Yeah, but that's as a director. I'm talking about as far as cinematographers. And cinematographers are the ones that are voting for this category.
Well, the fact that Roma's on this list would indicate that. But the fact that they nominated Roma, which is shot digitally, I think it indicates that they definitely are accepting of it. I mean, it is what it is, a part of the technological wave that's gone on in filmmaking, and it makes their job easier. It's just a matter of navigating how it works and making it work.
What about you, Vito? What do you think?
I'm going to go with Roma, too. Both that and Cold War are great jobs of cinematography. I don't think the cinematography in Star is Born is as striking or memorable But one thing that gets me angry, though, is that I just read today that they might not televise cinematography and foreign film in the future. Those are two of the main categories that I usually want to watch.
You know, they've been talking for years about moving the show along faster, about shortening the show.
Yeah.
Years and years and years ago, they dumped all the technical awards off to another night, and then they run a 2-minute clip of here's who's won. Isn't this great? And yeah, I know that they're supposed to do that this year, but they don't have hosts this year. And that's the other thing they're talking about is going to move the show along. You don't have a monologue. You don't have a lot of shtick that's being done by the host to chew up time, so this show will probably move faster anyway. If it's going to move faster, I don't see what the point is in cutting cinematography from...
They're considering it. I don't think they've done it yet.
I'm going to be controversial about that. It's once a year. It's not a 13-episode series every season. It's once a year they do this show. Knock yourselves out. If you want to have 4 hours, go for it. It's why we have Fast Forward. I mean, really, it's just one show a year. I don't see the big deal about let's rush it along, let's make it 2 hours, let's make it faster.
I always assumed all the complaining about it going long was... It was like an in-joke. Yeah, well, we're going along again. The show always starts at 7:30 and it always ends at 11, more or less.
And I'm sure
give or take a minute or two. The show this year, I assume, is slotted from 7:30 to 11 again.
Exactly. It's in the same time slot it's always been in, and it's going to go long. It's just how it is.
Yeah, but even without a host and shtick and setup bits, it's still slugged in for 7:30 to 11. So run the damn things.
There was a brief moment this year where they toyed with not having the songs. What's the point? I mean, you got to have the songs in there, too.
Well, you figure, okay, 5 songs.
5 minutes apiece.
5 minutes apiece. There's a half an hour.
Right.
There's, you know, you figure, and applause, and then, you know, he's getting set up and all that crap. You figure that's a half an hour of the show right there.
No Radiohead for Suspiria.
Truncating the Oscars, I don't know. Whatever they come up with, it's never going to be any shorter.
So, Vito, I'm sorry, what was your pick for best cinematographer?
Roma.
Okay, and yours too is Roma.
As well.
Okay, next category is Best Original Screenplay. We've got The Favorite, which is written by Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara. First Reformed, written by Paul Schrader. Green Book, written by Nick Valagona and Brian Curie and Peter Farrelly. We've got Roma, which is written by Alfonso Cuarón, and Vice, which is written by Adam McKay. Bo, which one do you think is going to win on this?
Well, this is my degree of difficulty award. Roma's an original story. The hardest job, however, though, is McKay's for Vice, because that story is told in a non-linear fashion, and the things that are going on in the film, and you're going, why is this person here? And he ties it all together, and he mixes genres. So I think Adam McKay is going to walk away with the screenplay award.
What about you, Rod?
The Academy is afraid of First Reform. I'll be shocked if that gets it.
I think it would help if Paul Schrader hadn't annoyed people by saying that the audiences were stupid about a month ago.
I'm saying Green Book because they like a feel-good sort of civil rights tie-in, and the Academy's trying to diversify everything now, so...
Green Book could be. The problem with Green Book is the fact that the son of Don Shirley has had major issues with the screenplay, saying his father did not do half of the stuff that's in that movie. He had specific points of that this never happened, that never happened. He had a relationship with his family, which the film says he didn't. He actually talked to his relatives, which the film said he didn't. And that came out like right afterward. Although, yeah, Green Book is a really good film.
I'm going with Green Book. First Reform, no way in hell they're going to give that one out.
First Reform had really, really good momentum for a while, then it sort of dropped off the radar.
Okay, so your pick, Bo, is...
My pick is Vice.
And Rod?
Green Book.
Green Book, okay. JR, which one of those 5 do you think?
Quickly, I'll say the winner is going to be The Favorite, but I really wish Paul Schrader would win for First Reformed. It's one of my favorites. I think it's number 3 on my top 10 list of the year, and Schrader's been around for so long and hasn't really walked away with a lot of screenplay Oscars. So
it's the best American movie of the year, I think.
It's a great one, and he really should be up there, but I do think The Favorite will win.
What about you, Vito? What do you think?
I hope that Green Book doesn't win. And I hope that Vice doesn't win. I don't think First Reformed will win. Maybe The Favorite.
Why don't you think First Reformed will win? You love that movie.
Because it doesn't make people feel good. It's very alienating.
Yeah, but we're talking screenplay here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Best Picture.
It's possible. Maybe some of the Oscars thought it'd be too depressing or something too, you know? Either Favorite or Roma.
Either Favorite or Roma. Our next category is Adapted Screenplay. We've got The Ballad of Buster Scruggs by Joel and Ethan Coen, Black Klansman by Charlie Watchell, David Rabinowitz, Kevin Wilmot, and Spike Lee. Can You Ever Forgive Me by Nicole Holofenser and Jeff Whitty. If Beale Street Could Talk by Barry Jenkins, and A Star Is Born by Eric Roth, Bradley Cooper, and Will Fetters. Rodney, which one do you think will get Best Adapted Screenplay?
If Beale Street Could Talk could possibly run away with it, but I would love Ballad of Buster Scruggs to get it.
Okay.
Black Klansman, to this day, people still don't actually believe that actually happened.
Well, it doesn't matter whether people believe it or not. It's adapted from another story.
Right.
Whether or not something actually happened or not is not the point behind the category. This is being adapted from another piece of source material.
Which is why that knocks Stars Born out, because they said, wait a minute, did we see this picture like 4 times already?
Well, it keeps adapting the same story.
Yeah, it
over and over
adapts the
again.
same story, but no, it's considered adapted screenplay. It is actually probably going to be the front runner, and it's probably going to win.
So you think Stars Born's going to win?
I think Stars Born's going to win.
You think so? This is like the 4th time down the road for this story.
It's the 4th time down the road, but you have to remember, most people don't remember the first 2, even though we know they're there.
Academy does.
The Academy does, but a lot of those people who voted for the first 2, they're all dead.
Fresh
Marks, that's right. Christopherson version was never really remembered as being a great thing. I think Stars Born is going to win here. All of them could win, but I think Stars Born is going to be able to walk out of there with it.
So you think Stars Born, and Rod, you want Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
I wanted just
because you like the Coen Boys, who have also in the category of, haven't they won enough?
No, there's no such thing as one enough.
Oh, yes,
if it's good, it's good.
Oh, yes, there is.
The only one of these I've seen is Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and if I had to pick one, it would not be Ballad of Buster Scruggs, just because it's an anthology piece.
Yeah.
There's 5 or 6 different stories that are loosely connected to each other through a theme, but not actually connected to each other.
They're not even connected. The plan was for these to be individual episodes on Netflix as a series, not a movie. So what did you adapt, really? You took the TV show and you put it into one big feature film. It's the least hardest job of all of them.
Well, the editor did a lot of work.
And the editor was Joel and Ethan Coen.
What about you, JR?
I think the winner will be Black Klansman. I think that screenplay walks a tightrope of being a comedy as well as being pretty hard-hitting about the culture right now. I found myself belly laughing at a couple of points during it, but also at the same time when it gets into elements like Charlottesville, it's difficult not to be completely moved by it at the same time. So yeah, I think that screenplay really walks a delicate line and does it well. I wouldn't be unhappy if Beale Street Could Talk won the screenplay Oscar either, but I think it's going to be Black Klansman.
He tried stuff like that before, walking a tightrope with genres with Chirac. I didn't think Black Klansman worked perfectly well, but he pulled it off pretty well, though. And it's more ambitious than the other choices. He tried to do more. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that people who aim high sometimes impress people more than people that do something perfectly that isn't as difficult.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go from behind the camera to in front of the camera and do actors, actresses, best picture, best director. Located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, Alternate Reality is the only brick-and-mortar store that discounts all new comics 15% off every day for everyone, and that's been since 1994. And all brand new first issues are discounted at 25% off every new Comic Wednesday. So stop on down and save some money. And we're back. Next up is Best Animated Feature. We have Incredibles 2 by Brad Bird, Isle of Dogs, Wes Anderson, Mirai by Mamoru Hosoda, Ralph Breaks the Internet by Rich Moore and Phil Johnson, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse by Bob Piroschetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rotham. Rodney, which one do you think is going to win?
I'm going with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. What about you, Bo?
As soon as Spider-Verse came out, it was already the winner. Ralph Breaks the Internet doesn't even belong in this category. You know, that's Ferdinand. It's animated. Let's pick it. You could have left that off, and I think we'd all been fine.
Then last year, didn't they have 3 nominees, and one of them was Ferdinand?
Yeah. It's like, really?
It just happens to be there.
What, Momoa 2 or something? But no, Into the Spider-Verse is an extremely well-done film. It's funny, it's got action, and it's a mixture of animation styles.
And it doesn't insult people,
And it doesn't insult people.
They love
and
it.
Incredibles 2 kind of, when people went, oh, it's out? Yeah, okay.
I think what hurt the Incredibles too is the fact that it took 14 years for them to do part
took too
2.
long.
It's okay, but I'm 14 years past the Incredibles now.
Yeah, we've moved on. And I was always one of the few Wes Anderson films that I actually like, which means it had to be really good. Because most of his films were like, okay, I can see you doing the technical work on the strings. This one was like, oh, this is interesting. It also had perfect voice talent.
Okay, so you've got Spider-Man.
I got Spider-Verse.
And you've got Spider-Verse 2.
Yes.
Okay, Spider-Verse. Jared, what do you think?
Any other year in the animated feature category, it's ho-hum, another Pixar movie wins an Oscar, but not this year, Comicbookman. I think we're going to have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Wallop and Web Snappers, really?
Yeah.
They certainly knocked it out of the park with this first one.
Right.
That they did.
And it's a superhero film that's going to walk away with an Oscar.
Okay. What about you?
I didn't like it quite as much as you did.
Yeah, I liked it quite
but worth seeing a good movie.
Best Supporting Actresses next, we have Amy Adams for Vice, Maria Tavara for Roma, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. We have Emma Stone for The Favorite, and Rachel Weisz for The Favorite. 2 actresses in the same movie.
Yeah, which means none of them have a chance in hell of winning.
Well,
you cancel each other out.
Yes, they do.
Is it Bo? Which one do you think will win?
It's going to be Regina King.
Yes.
For the landslide. Yeah. Amy Adams, she's good in Vice, but she's not outstanding. De Tavara, it's her first film. You're not Tatum O'Neal. It's never going to happen. But yeah, Regina King, she was getting great reviews before the film even opened. And
she's been winning awards left and right.
She's a really good actress.
What about you, Rod?
I'm picking Regina King. She's been acting since, 8 years old? She come from TV, and she went to movies and roles in,
from here.
Boys in the Hood.
From Chicago.
Yeah. On here? Oh, that's Regina King. Okay. Yeah. It's a good movie.
Oh, we like it. You were comfortable with her.
So, JR, who do you think is going to win in this category?
Regina King's been an asset to films now for a few years and makes films better with her performances. And this is a great film. She contributes to that. Okay. She's the hands-down winner for me.
And I pick Marina because I think the Roma Steamroller has more momentum, and I think it might include...
The Roma Steamroller?
Yeah, it might include this category.
Okay. Is there anything different in their performances that would stand out?
Well, Marina is not a professional actress. She's not an actress at all.
Her performance, is that good?
Yeah, it is a really good performance, but it's very naturalistic compared to Regina King or anybody else on this list for that matter. Does it deserve to be on the list? For sure, yeah. But it is one of those performances that you can see the rough edges of being a non-professional, but that doesn't mean she's bad. She just brings a realness to it.
It works to its advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a neorealism movie where the people are more real because they're not acting.
Exactly.
And so you think that's going to shut out all the rest of these Hollywood darlings?
Possibly.
Not for me, no. I do think Regina King's going to take it. I don't think it's about its performances as it is its writing and its direction.
Okay. Your next category is Best Supporting Actor. We have Mahershala Ali for The Green Book. We have Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell for Vice. Rod?
God, I hope it's Sam Elliott. Just to hear the speech he gives. I'm picking him to do it, but I will not be surprised if they would give it to Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me.
Sam Elliott's only in this category because he's been working a long time. Andrew Dice Clay has more to do in Star Is Born than Sam Elliott does. He actually does a better job than Sam Elliott does in A Star Is Born.
But has Sam Elliott ever won?
Sam Elliott was actually, last time Sam Elliott was actually even considered for nomination was when he did Lifeguard, which is like when he started his career.
So this could be a Lifetime Achievement Award.
This could be a Lifetime Achievement Award, but the two frontrunners here are Grant and Ali. Now, Grant's never won an Academy Award. Ali won for Moonlight. Grant is in a film that was beloved by critics, but,
very few people.
It was basically Richard Grant playing Richard Grant. So I'm going for Ali coming back with another Academy Award because the man is just magnetic as hell.
He is.
Don Shirley. He is incredible here. It's a possibility Grant may win it as also a Lifetime Achievement Award because he's been working as long as Sam Elliott has. Adam Driver's here just to be nice. You were good, but you really weren't that good. But
if you remember
should have been nominated
ending,
before.
Here's the thing about it, without giving away the ending of Black Klansman, there's a change that happens there that I just bought the DVD and saw that and said, oh, I didn't notice that when I saw it. But I'm going with, like I said, Richard Grant, possibly. I would love for Sam Elliott to get it.
No, Sam won't get it. I'm going with Ellie.
JR, you have any thoughts on that?
That's a good category. I mean, Green Book has its problems, and the best thing about it is probably Mahershala Ali. I do think it's going to be Richard E. Grant and Can You Ever Forgive Me? That film itself is really worth seeing, and not enough people went to see it. Would I be unhappy if Sam Elliott walked out of there with a gold statue? No. It could be an achievement Oscar.
Yeah,
it could be an achievement Oscar. But I do have a suspicion that Richard E. Grant is going to take it. For me, it's the best performance outside of Mahershala Ali, but that film it's based on a true story, and the people that have been involved in that story have come out against the film and said some things about it that have made it less desirable. So I think that's going to take away from it.
What about you?
I think the other ones are bigger and more substantial roles, but the only thing Vice is really going for is the acting. And Sam Rockwell is a really likable George Bush. And I don't even like George Bush.
A difficult thing to pull off.
And, he's also been compared to Cheney in the movie, But and he also did capture something of his semblance, so I think I'll go with him.
Sam Rockwell?
Yeah. He's got a quality like Christian Bale has where he does become somebody else. There's not much left of him from other roles in this movie.
Well, Bale's performance in Vice is more of a shtick. There's a lot of fat suit and there's a lot of makeup and there's a lot of stuff that goes with his performance. It turns into a bit after a while.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because the performance is good, but a lot of it is brought on by the makeup and the costuming. Is that a cheat a little bit? Depends on how you look at it.
Again, this is being voted on by the actors, so an actor can look at that and go, well, the costume's doing most of the work.
Right. And Bale's known for disappearing into roles.
Okay, next category is lead actress. We have Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Bo?
This is a two-horse race, and the younger ones are not in it. Gaga's out of it, so's Aparicio, so's Melissa McCarthy. It's between Glenn Close and Olivia Colman. And I have a feeling Close is going to beat out Colman.
So it'd be like the Lifetime Achievement thing for her.
No, Glenn Close has Oscars.
No.
She never won an Oscar?
No, she's not. She's on Colbert. She's never won one.
Oh, okay, but I think it's probably going to be Glenn Close. Although, if Olivia Colman won, I would not be irritated.
What about you, Rod? Who do you think?
I'm picking Close. Even though she should have won it for Fatal Attraction. For some reason or other, when she's in the category with Meryl Streep, they go over there. She looks like Meryl Streep, so let's give it to Meryl Streep. No, that's Glenn Close. No.
They look alike.
Right. I'm giving it to Close.
This is a strong category. It's tough to pick. I mean, Olivia Colman, I think she won the BAFTA this year, or the Screen Actors Guild Award, and that's another great performance. Yalitza Aparicio is another, again, non-professional who comes up with a great performance. All of these are great. I do think it's going to go to Glenn Close and The Wife. She's been nominated many times in the past, has never won. Not to say that she's going to win on a career performance here for the Oscar. I do think she's going to win. It is a quality performance.
McCartney should win, but Glenn Close will get it.
How good is The Wife?
The film itself is not very good.
It's as good as a good made-for-TV movie.
Exactly. It's like something you'd see on
And her performance must be incredible in it.
Yeah. Given the material, she throws herself into it.
Her performance is just a good performance, but she's going to get it for her whole career.
So you think this is going to be a career Oscar?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you're falling down with this too?
I think it's a good.
This is a Sam Elliott Oscar if he gets
if he
gets
wins,
it for Best Supporting.
Exactly. I do think it's a really good performance. Out of all of these, I'd probably lean towards Melissa McCarthy.
You said it was a strong category to begin with.
Yeah, these are all good performances.
That would sort of be almost throwing it away if they gave it to her, just if it was a career Oscar.
I can't say I'd be unhappy about Glenn Close winning it. She certainly should have an Oscar after all these years.
See, the thing is, Melissa McCarthy, I've seen her in a lot of stuff. She's never impressed me at all. Yeah. She's given no indication she could ever be this good her whole career. Yeah. And this is her great role so far. Maybe she'll have another one like this good again. I don't know.
Well, she's certainly shown them what she's capable of with this, so the sky's the limit now.
I did like the Bill Murray movie she did, a couple of years ago, St. Vincent. This is like a virtuoso performance. Yeah. And she's not likable either, which is gutsy.
And I really love Olivia Colman in The Favorite, too. I think that's a great performance.
All the acting in The Favorite is really good.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, they're all equal, and there's three women.
Right. Yeah, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz have just as much to do in The Favorite as Olivia Colman, but somebody had to go into the supporting actress category.
Okay, next we have lead actor. We have Christian Bale for Vice, Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, William Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. Rod.
Rami Malek may get it. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also would not be surprised if Christian Bale pulls an upset.
There is a current out there for Rami Malek, but Bohemian Rhapsody is such a crappy movie.
Well, don't forget, they have given out awards.
He's the best part of it.
Movies.
To me, it's between Bale and Viggo Mortensen, and I'm going to go with Mortensen. But if Mortensen doesn't win, it's going to be Christian Bale. Mortensen's doing a completely different take on the character. You've never seen him play somebody like this before. And he totally takes this thing over, and he steals every scene he's in.
And he got robbed out of History of Violence, too, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, they should have got it for that. But other than that, it's going to be Christian Bale because he becomes Dick Cheney in this movie.
Okay.
And he also won the Golden Globes.
So you think Christian Bale, and Rod, you think...
No, I think it's going to be Viggo Mortensen, but Christian Bale could win.
Okay, you think Viggo Mortensen. Yeah. And Rod, you think it's going to be...
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, okay. What do you think, JR?
Rami Malek. I mean, he's been winning awards for the role of Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. He's the best thing about Bohemian Rhapsody, a film I was not crazy about. He disappears into the role. He may be a little bit shorter than the real Freddie Mercury, but he inhabits him very well.
What about you, Vito?
I think Defoe's head and shoulders above everybody else, but he probably won't win. I think it's going to be Mortensen.
What does he play in Green Book?
He's an Italian kind of a lower class Italian guy. The movie makes people feel good because he becomes aware of race and his own bigotry.
It's just such a softball film to me.
The movie isn't that good, but I think he might win this category.
The movie's gathered a lot of momentum recently for some reason. It's directed by one of the Farrelly brothers, the Dumb and Dumber Farrelly brothers.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that surprised some people that he would take on a subject like that. But again,
it's a soft movie, but a lot of soft movies have been rewarded by the Oscar people.
We'll see. I do think the fact that Rami Malek is so good in that role, and also that he's been winning a lot of the acting awards, I think he's going to take.
I like his movie even less than Green Book.
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody? I was not a
movie.
fan of Bohemian Rhapsody, but I do think that performance carries the day here.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to do the final two categories, Best Director and, of course, Best Picture, right after this. Every Sunday is super at Alternate Reality with our Super Sunday Sale. Each Sunday we pick a different character, family, or publisher, and we discount all of their comics and trade paperbacks 25% off all day long. What we pick for the sale is different each week, but each Sunday you'll save 25% off. And that's all day long, all day Sunday, only at Alternate Reality. And we're back. Okay, for Best Director, we have Spike Lee for Black Klansman, Powell Pakowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, and Andrew McKay for Vice. Bo, who do you think is going to be Best Director this year?
The Directors Guild's already given it to Corazon, so it's going to happen again. They never break tradition with that. So he'll be his second or third win as director.
What about you, Rod? What do you think?
I'm going with him, even though I would absolutely hit the floor if they gave it to Spike Lee.
No, never going to happen.
No, he pisses off too many people.
No. Spike is warm and cuddly now. That's Spike Lee back then. This is the corporate, friendly, happy, sociable, nice Spike Lee, who everyone loves now.
Yeah, but that movie wasn't warm and cuddly.
Well, it's not supposed to be warm and cuddly.
So you've got...
I'm figuring it's going to be Corazon. If it wasn't him, I'd go with Adam McKay.
And you think it's going to be...
Corazon, yeah.
Okay. Vito, you have any thoughts on that?
I think the Best Director category is usually better than Best Picture.
Yeah.
Those movies are better than the Best Picture movies.
Well, it's not. I mean, it comes back to that whole thing about, does the person who's nominated for Best Director, did he not direct one of the Best Pictures of the year as well? I mean, Cold War, Paul Wachowski is nominated for Director for Cold War, but his film isn't in Best Picture.
I think when the Academy looks at Best Director, what they're looking for is the art of the film. When they're looking at Best Picture, they're looking for what represents the Academy best, which aren't always the same thing. They don't always line up.
I mean, if they are looking at it from a more artistic level, I don't know why Adam McKay's Vice is in this group. I really don't. There's better McKay movies than Vice. I think it's such a scattershot film that never finds a focal point about Cheney.
Maybe it's in there for political reasons.
It's also very self-congratulatory.
Right.
And it breaks the fourth wall all the time, kind of an annoying way.
Yeah.
It's just self-referential in kind of a distracting way.
It's such an odd choice for Best Director when there were other things out there. But if I'm picking, I think this is going to go to Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. He won the DGA last week, and the Directors Guild are the same voters that vote for the Oscars.
You were talking before about Spike Lee and Black Klansman. What do you think the chances are of Spike Lee getting it?
I'm going to go with Spike Lee. I think he's going to get it for the whole career. Also, if directors are voting more for this category, he's much more respected than anybody else on the list.
I would agree with that. And for me, if I'm picking, it's Spike Lee.
Do you know offhand, has Lee won before? Going back to Do the Right Thing?
He has never been nominated.
Oh, before. Really?
He won a special Oscar.
I thought he's been nominated for Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X. I thought those were up for Best Director.
He's got screenplay nominations.
Yeah. There's even a song about the injustice of it, Burn Hollywood Burn by Public Enemy, which attacks Hollywood.
It is ridiculous that he's never been nominated for Best Director. Black Klansman, for me, is his best film in about 15 years. If I'm picking, he wins.
Like I said, I don't think he's the best choice this time, but I would feel better if he won. He's a major filmmaker.
For myself, I haven't seen any of these films because I run a store and I'm busy 7 days a week, so I really don't get to see that many movies. But I do look at this stuff from a political point of view and politics of the Academy, not outside politics. What are they looking for? And Black Klansman, I would think for the Academy, would check a lot of boxes this year, considering the political climate of the country, the fact Lee has never been nominated before, the fact that there have been so many racial problems over the last couple of years with the Klan and neo-Nazis. I mean, if Hollywood wanted to make a statement, Black Klansman winning Best Director. And Best Director is the type of thing where most people who would be upset by Spike Lee winning wouldn't care about him being Best Director anyway.
We could be looking at a split. I mean, if they decide to give it to Lee for Best Director, I don't think that'll carry over to Best Picture. I think Roma could win Best Picture.
I still think the Academy always falls back on what best represents us for Hollywood. That's the big political pick for them. That's the reason why Gandhi wins one year. What is
over
our
E.T.?
What is our Hollywood film? Go take the family to see this movie. Occasionally they do political statements like Philadelphia Story.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, they'll pick something like that. But most of the time they go with whatever best represents Hollywood.
If they award Spike Lee for a director, I don't think it'll take Best Picture. It would be my pick if I were voting.
Okay, and finally we have Best Picture. The nominees are Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. Rod, what is going to be the best picture of the year?
Oh, my goodness. Now, I've been going back and forth over this, and there's been a lot of groundswell for Black Panther.
And Roper said that.
He said, do not be surprised if Black Panther wins for Best Picture. But the Academy's going to try to do a little bit safety thing, and it may be either The Favorite or Green Book.
Okay. Roma's a great film. Roma's also a Netflix film.
Bingo.
If you give it to Roma, most general audiences will go, it's on television.
Right.
People in L.A. and New York got to see it in theaters. I don't think it opened in a theater here at all.
No, it didn't.
Which means you watched it completely and totally on Netflix. And
that means more people have potentially seen it.
Oh, and that also means more people could potentially have ignored it.
There's a much bigger wall here, though, as far as the Academy is concerned, and that's, are we going to give the best picture of the year to a film that is primarily a Netflix film and not a motion picture in a theater?
Right.
That is a psychological barrier for the Academy that we will see this year if they can get over that barrier. Now, the easy thing to do is not pick it and confront this question at some other point down the road. But if they do and they pick it, that's going to, I think, change a lot in Hollywood. Well, that means you can go to anything that's a streaming service that has any film, and potentially it can wind up getting nominated and being part of the same pack that studios are paying millions and millions of dollars to promote in theaters.
But Amazon does the same thing, but the Amazon films, they open in theaters and they stay in theaters for a while. Is the Academy for people who go out to movies in theaters, people who are sitting at home, which means it's a problem. I just sent you a story today about the Cannes Film Festival and Netflix films and films being considered, because Cannes like, if the films don't play in theaters, then basically they shouldn't be eligible.
Yeah, that's the thing that Spielberg brought up about that.
It's like it has to be in a theater. People have to walk up and go, hi, I'd like a ticket for
Roma.
Panther could come up and win because Panther's the easiest choice. Now, you could pick Vice, you could pick Green Book. Green Book, has an undercurrent of people going, we really, really like this film. You go into the film and you're thinking it's this, and as you sit there during the film, you notice there's some hard stuff being talked about in the thing. It comes in and you go, wow, I never thought about that. Vice is a lot of people who like it and don't like it. They've got directors. I think it's a great film. So, if you give it to Roma, you're basically saying, well, the Academy's elitist.
But that's one of the reasons why they opened up Best Picture to not 5 films, but 10 films.
Yeah,
was
trying to get
to not be elitist.
Yeah.
But if they've done that already, then they can go and be, quote-unquote, elitist and pick Roma. And they're already talking about a People's Choice category. Yeah. That knocks down any arguments about elitism on the Academy's part. In a world of 5 pictures for Best Picture, do you ever think Black Panther would be on a list of 5?
No.
Cut this list down to 5. Which one's the first one off the list?
Black Panther.
Yeah. No. The first one off the list would be Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody.
The second film off the list would be Black Panther.
No, they like biopics. They like biopics because they had Ray in there before.
Ray actually was well done.
When they broadened the picks to 10 from 5, the reason they did that was to allow more popular films to be on board that are never going to win the Oscar.
No, right.
So it was pointless to do it in the first place outside of making some people feel good about themselves. A film like Bohemian Rhapsody is never going to get picked for Best Picture.
Shouldn't even be in the category.
Well, but it's in that category for that reason.
I would have swapped that out and replaced it with First Man, which has gotten no love at all, and it was a great movie.
Okay, so Rod, what do you think?
Picking Black Panther.
I'm assuming the Academies go out on a limb and probably pick Roma.
If that does happen, I would be real interested in seeing how many people watch Roma the week after the Academy Awards if they win.
I read a long article about a week ago, and there are a lot of people who are seriously wondering what Netflix does to it. They can't figure out any way, shape, or form where they come up with these numbers of how many people watched anything. They just don't know.
Well, I would assume any time that your box clicks into Netflix and clicks on a show, they know it.
Yeah.
And then they're just tallying that up.
They know that. Then they're going to be a bigger problem next year because you've got, like, Scorsese's The Irishman. You've got a bunch of films that are coming out which are being paid for by Netflix that are going to come out in theaters, but if they don't want to, they're going to be...
Okay, I got a question. How is the Academy ignoring blockbusters? A Quiet Place, critics loved it. It made a ton of money. And you could have put that in there. Well.
It's a genre film. It would be in there just like Black Panther. Yeah. Genre films don't win.
No, Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture.
For the most part, genre films don't win.
Right.
And everybody in science fiction, in fantasy, in anything.
And all the Lord of the Rings films won.
Yeah, everybody knows that. If you're a genre film or comedy, chances are really good. You're not going to get anything.
Your best comedy, you're not going to win. I got Box Office Mojo. Do you know how many films came out last year?
How many?
400 to 500. We're not talking about foreign films. We're talking about domestic films. You have to go through all those films, and you have to come up with 8 or 9. So a lot of films are never going to make that cut. And Quiet Place is a great film, but it's not an Academy Award film. So the Academy's made an effort in the last couple of years to increase their membership of younger Academy members. And it's larger, and older members are dying off. The younger members are taking over. And so as time passes, these nominees are going to start looking much differently than what they do now.
Be very little period pieces in Best Pictures then.
Well, no. Green Book's a period piece. Bohemian Rhapsody's a period piece. I mean, whether you like them or not, they're period pieces.
Yeah, that is a period piece.
The Favorite's a period piece. I mean, hell, on here, Vice is a period piece. Roma's a period piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Black Klansman 6 of your 10 nominees are period pieces. They take place at some point in the past. It doesn't have to be the 16th century to be a period piece. When you're doing Black Klansman, you have to pay just as much attention to what styles and the look of the 70s were
and what's on TV
and all of that as you do with something like Favorite with the 15th, 16th century. Right. Period piece is a period piece. JR, what do you think?
Well, right off, I'm going to editorialize here. I look at this list of 8, and 3 of them are on my top 10 list of the year. Okay. So there's 7 films here I'm not particularly all that crazy about, but they're varying degrees of good. If I'm picking, it's Roma. I think that film captures a lot about an experience of the director and screenwriter Alfonso Cuarón growing up in Mexico, being raised by a maid, basically. The film is loaded with heart as well as how you look up to someone in life when you're a child that may not be a parent necessarily. For me, it's the best film of this bunch, without a doubt. Second favorite for me would be Black Klansman.
What about you, Vito?
Since I put down Roma for best foreign film, I don't think usually you have ever winning best film. I think that's one of the leading candidates, but I'm going to go with one of the worst choices. I think Green Book could win.
Okay.
Because it's the least ambitious movie, and it deals with race in a very non-threatening way. They don't show the worst aspects of discrimination. And it's about a white person who gets more socially conscious in the movie. It makes people feel like if we can all just treat each other a little better, we don't have to have any problems at all with race. For the wrong reasons, that might win.
So you think Green Book is a safer choice?
Yeah. A lot of times the safer ones do win.
You think Black Panther is going to be shut out because it's a comic book film?
Its nomination is its action. It's the first superhero film to be nominated for Best Picture of the Year for the Academy Awards. That's probably enough for now. Is it the best film of the year? Is it one of the best films of the year? Maybe. It's a really good film, no doubt about it. But if I'm looking at superhero films last year, I kind of like the Spider-Verse film better.
Better than Black Panther?
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking what you're thinking. It got nominated, and that's the best you're going to get. For as much of a cultural thing that it was. And if the Academy really wanted to make a statement, they picked Black Klansman over Black Panther. Exactly. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to do that with Spike Lee, and they're going to go with the safe choice up above. If Black Klansman wasn't in that mix, I think it would have a better shot. I still don't think it'd win, but I think it'd have a better shot.
Black Panther does take that sociological element and folds it into a superhero story pretty well, but it doesn't have the same sort of impact as a Black Klansman, or I can't say Green Book because that really didn't have much of an impact on me at all. But yeah, being there in that Best Picture list, wow, that's an accolade for Marvel.
What about Star is Born? That seems like it's a pretty safe bet. And hasn't previous versions of Star Wars Born won Best Picture?
The Judy Garland version, I believe, was at least nominated. And maybe the Janet Gaynor version as well. Outside of the Barbra Streisand version, it's always been well regarded. I don't think there's enough there to take home the gold.
I was surprised how good Lady Gaga was, though.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, she was really...
Me too.
And Cooper's always good. I mean, I think they had a Best Popular Film category. Maybe it will win that.
They talked
well, that's
about
essentially what Best Pictures evolved down into.
There was talk of that earlier this year, that they were going to have Best Picture and Best Popular.
No, it would have been a stupid category.
Well,
I still think that
sounds like a slog to the average moviegoer to get them to watch the show.
Well, what you're doing is you're cutting the year's films into highbrow, lowbrow automatically by doing that. Okay.
And if that were to happen, that's where you'd see all the superhero films turn up.
Remember People's Choice Awards?
Sure.
That would be that.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to wind up with.
But hopefully not.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to sum it all up. You know, folks, there really is no other store that has as many sales as Alternate Reality. Beyond our signature sale of 15% off all new comics, we also have specialized sales peppered throughout the week, month, and year. For example, did you know that every Thursday is Ladies' Day at the store? That's right, ladies. Stop by the store and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases all day long. Ladies from 8 to 80 get a 20% discount on everything all day, every Thursday, only at Alternate Reality. And we're back. Gentlemen, any great thoughts about this year's Academy Awards? As obviously was a lot of consternation about it earlier with the choice of the host. So they're going hostless this year.
Yes. I think it should be us.
It should be us, yeah.
We should be the host of the Oscars. Exactly. Look how entertaining we were in the last hour.
How much of an impact do you think that's going to have on the Oscars this year, Bo?
The show will probably come in at the 3-hour mark. You could do an award show without a host, and it really wouldn't hurt anyone. You do the bit with the guy doing the voiceovers. He announces everything, and the people come up and they take their awards, and they say what they want to say. But you don't need someone standing there for the jokes and the transitions.
I've been watching Academy Awards my entire life. When Johnny Carson did the Academy Awards...
It was seamless. But he was Johnny Carson.
Yeah, but that's what they expect.
Yeah.
You get somebody in who generally is not a Hollywood creature. Yeah. Somebody from some other walk of life, like Johnny Carson or David Letterman
or Bob Hope.
Or Bob Hope. But by the time Bob Hope was hosting, he was already becoming another creature. I mean, well, no, he was in radio and he was on television and he'd done a body of work in film, but he'd already done all this other stuff. You're not going to get Steve McQueen, the original Steve McQueen,
you're not
to host the Academy Awards.
You weren't going to get Paul Newman or anybody else in there.
But when you get Johnny Carson do it 3-4 times in a row, and then like his last time, that's when they start talking about, oh, the show's starting to get slow and Johnny's starting to get a little weak and it's not as good as it used to be. So then you get David Letterman, and David Letterman comes in, knocks it out of the park his first time, and then his second time everyone says it sucked.
Oprah,
I still like that. That's still funny. Oprah, Oprah. I just wanted you two to meet.
And so you got to the point where you kept bringing people in. But yeah, if you talk about keeping the show moving, you don't need the host for that.
If they're looking to shorten it, I don't think that's going to happen. I still think it's going to run as long as it's always run. Look for a lot of political speeches this year. Maybe more than any other year.
Probably. Will
it run long? Yeah, it always has and it always will.
I like the irreverent hosts, Ricky Gervais and David Letterman, the ones who piss everybody off.
Those always play better for me too. Yeah. Again, I think what they're doing this year is playing it safe by not having a host.
Not having a host gets you at that 3-hour mark.
What about you, Rod? What do you think?
Larry and I was arguing about this. The winners get 90 seconds.
That's fine.
Not for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Director.
And you also,
well, as far as Best Picture goes, sometimes it takes 90 seconds to get everybody up on stage.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the thing. So,
well, let's do our crystal ball here and say Glenn Close wins for Best Actress. Yes. And she goes up there and gives a dynamite speech.
How long should it go?
Give her 2 minutes.
Look, it's all about ratings. This show is no different than any other show that appears on television. The ratings have been down the last few years for whatever reason. Some people say it's because of lack of an interesting host. Other people say it's not enough popular films in the mix. The show is the show.
They had that screw-up with Best Picture 2 years ago.
Yeah, Moonlight.
And that seemed to be a big stumble for the Academy, which I don't know if they've gotten over. What they did this year with the host, that just seems like another big stumble.
The biggest problem with the Academy has always been the format blows.
It's an awards format.
No. It's the way you lay it out. Supporting actress, supporting actor, filler.
The reason they do it like that is to keep you watching. You're there for Best Actor, Actress. You're there for Best Director. You're there for Best Picture. You're not getting that until the end of the show.
Yeah,
we're going to warm you up with Best Supporting Actor and Actress at the beginning, and then you do
score,
screenplay, song, cinematographer, documentary, foreign film. You get all that in the middle.
And a lot of those things in the middle, those are what to be giving out during the commercial breaks. By the way, this person won for Best Editing.
No, let me tell you why that won't work for the Academy Awards. Okay, guess where they got that idea from? They got it from the Grammy Awards, because I remember specifically watching the Grammy, and so-and-so off air won this award for Best Hard Rock Album. I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't even on there. So you saying the musical part of the show
you
is
will
going
hear
to be what?
Shallows, you will hear
You're going to let her
All
do the whole
Stars,
song?
and the other 3 songs will be in a 90-second...
No. If you're going to do one, you're going to do them all, or you're just going to give 90-second medleys of each.
No, it's not how they're doing it.
Well, people will complain if that's what they do.
Well, some musicians have complained, and they said, well, that's great.
Well,
you know what we forgot about the in memoriam part? Because last year was perfect. Eddie Vedder playing Tom Petty with just him and the guitar. That would be perfect.
And biggest concern about that is, will Albert Finney make the mix?
Doing it right now, right?
Yeah, well, we assume they're editing it right now. Tip, if you're going to die and you're a big famous Hollywood person, don't do it the week before the Oscars.
Any final thoughts, Vito?
Like I said, I think they're aiming lower now. Bohemian Rhapsody, Green Book, Stars Born, Vice are 3-star movies. I mean, they have good aspects with them, but I don't know. I know they want to bring up ratings, but it's kind of painfully obvious that they're kind of desperate. Maybe with all the different media, the ratings will keep going down. People are diversifying more.
Sure, because you don't have to watch the show to get the winners. It's all over the internet. It becomes sort of unnecessary to sit there and watch the show.
Well, Super Bowl sort of turned into that. You used to watch the Super Bowl for the commercials, and now the commercials are all going to be on the internet.
Immediately, as soon as they're run. Yeah.
So what's the point in watching the show? That's a self-defeating thing, because then at some point the advertisers say, well, why the hell are we paying so much for a Super Bowl spot when nobody seems to care anymore?
Exactly.
So then the ad revenues drop. And the same thing we're talking about with the Oscars.
The landscape of television is changing.
And those are our Academy Award picks for the 91st Annual Academy Awards. Thank you very much for listening. Be sure to go to the store's website, myalternatereality.com, where you can find all of Bo's news. You can find all of JR's reviews. You can find all of Vito Carli's reviews. You can find their picks that we just told you about for this year's Academy Awards on the store's website, along with their picks from previous years. Bo usually gets snuffed in those things, and JR usually comes in with about a 90% percentage rate of winners being picked.
I pick the films that I want to win, not the films that end up winning.
Yeah, Bo usually does like 15, 16 nominees, of which 3 make it.
That's bad.
He had a scorecard once, and we were like,
he's got a miserable scorecard. But you can find all of that on myalternatereality.com, along with this podcast, of course, and along with the shipping videos. So be sure to stop off there. Gentlemen, thank you very much for stopping in today.
Thank you.
Giving us your Oscar picks for this year.
Fun as always.
You've done last year, and as you, JR, have done for decades now.
I'll be doing this from the home next year.
Yes, in the rocking chair.
Yes, in between my oatmeal feedings.
Rod, I appreciate it.
Season screenings.
Season screenings. I like that.
As I mentioned at the top of the show, we're coming from Alternate Reality, located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, all new comics are 15% off every day for everyone. So until next time, folks. Bye! Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please like and share it with all your friends. We value your feedback, so drop us a question, comment, show idea, or complaint either at aircomics@msn.com or, if provided, in the comments section down below on this platform. The opinions expressed in this episode are solely those of the individuals and not necessarily those of Alternate Reality Incorporated. This show is, as always, coming to you from the Alternate Reality Comic Shop, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, serving Chicago comics fandom since 1994.
Now get out of here. I have to go back to reading everyone's emails over the PA system.